Okay, listen, I'm not really quite sure how to approach this, and this is this right here is the product of years and years of learning, of doing stuff, and then later on figuring out what it is. Uh, but I want to kind of give you a roadmap to doing it the easier way, the quicker way, and that is that what you want to do is you want to learn how to do. You want to really learn, get down into a little bit of music theory, and that's how you'll understand scales. And the best way to do that is to try to learn the chords in a couple of different positions. And here's what I mean by that. Okay, so I had said here's an A, right? And I'm gonna do another lesson where I'm gonna talk about chord theory, but what I'm gonna tell you is that a guitar has 6 strings. However, every chord, the way the guitar is, just the physical properties of it, the way it is manufactured, it is designed so that you can play any chord in this first position here with 3 notes. Because every chord has intervals, and what that means there's 8 notes in a chord, and it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So for example, in C, I'm gonna see if that's right. Okay, so C, C. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the. However, for the chord, you only need there are 8 notes in the chord, but you only need 3 of them for it to sound like the chord. And so, for example, for C, and it's always the first one of the 8, because the 8 is really just a repeat. It's really a C to a C. So it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that's the reason why I did C is because it happens to be the only chord of all the chords, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that has no sharps or flats in it. The rest of them have sharps and flats, but it has to do with there's a progression of intervals, whole note, half note, and so forth. C is easier for me to explain because it's all whole notes. There's no sharps and flats. So I'm gonna get past that, but what I'm gonna tell you is there's 8 notes in the chord. So if you were on the piano, you would need 4 fingers on each hand, or 8 total, and you would get the whole. You would get the entire chord, but you only need 3, and those are the intervals. And you need the first, and you need the third, and you need the fifth. And I know this will take years to kind of get down, but if I tell you it now, as you're just naturally progressing, you're going to go, yeah, I see what he's talking about, because you'll see that that's a repeating pattern. Here's what I mean by that. And the way I learned this is because I learned it having to play bass guitar. Because bass guitar is all about knowing the first, third, and the fifth. That's all you really need to know. For bass guitar, you only need 2 strings. The other 2 are bonuses. At the bottom, you only need 2 strings. And there's only 2 progressions, a major and a minor progression. So all you got to do is know the first, the third, and the fifth, and you can go on tour and make $1 million. And so here's, I guess a little more to it than that, but you get the point. Is that you have to have a foundation in that. And so here's for the C. You go the first, skip the second. There's the third, fourth, fifth. So here's the first, third, and the fifth. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? And you will find, this is true, take my word for it, every other string is either unnecessary or is a repeat. That right there is just a repeat of this. Then there's an E in here. So there's E, it's E, C, A, G, C, E. G, C, E. G is the root. The reason why it's a chord is the C chord is because the root note is C. And then the G and the E are the third and the fifth intervals. Okay. Now, I did that into C. I want to shift gears. I want to talk about A for a minute because A has the same properties. And the first, third, and fifth interval are A, C sharp, and E. And then just repeats, okay? So it just says those, and every other string is either unnecessary or is just a duplicate. So what you want to do is you want to learn how to play an A chord in every position because it's going to have those three notes that you need. So here's an A. Here's an A. And it's not the full A, it's just a partial. So, and it's so there's an A. Then there's the bar chord A, which you already know. Or you can do it like this. There's also this A. You hear it? Now, how do you know that's an A? How do you know that just, okay, I'll tell you how. Look, you know that's a D, right? Just count it up. D, E, F, G, A. And like I said, don't do it with 3 fingers, do it with 2 if you can. Okay. And then here's an A also. How do I know that's an A? It's just a partial chord shape. Well, it's the same thing I just did with the D. C, D, E, F, G, A. And then I just lifted this finger off. It's just cumbersome. And if you can get up there's going to be another A right there. So, what's that tell you? As I'm playing lead, that's what I'm doing is I'm looking for those chord shapes. I'm looking for all those A's everywhere. So, and I don't expect you to be able to do this quickly because this is a lifetime worth of work. But if you just kind of break it down and learn each chord this way, it's going to pay dividends, and you'll get there a lot faster than I did. So, A, 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 A. Actually, A there. Because that's A. That same that we did there. And you'll figure these things out. And the way you'll figure it out is you'll just take all your cowboy chords and move them up. C, D, F, G, or D. Do it with an A. Do it with a G. It works. Cage, C-A-G-E-D. It works with those chords. And remember that an F and an E are the same thing, and a B and an A are the same thing, so you don't have to worry about the B or the F. That's why caged works. Okay. So when I'm doing the lead, if it's an A, what I'm really doing is I'm playing that A major chord. A major scale. Play. Extension of it. So when so that's when I'm playing that lead. I'm thinking, okay, I must be down here in this A section. Don't worry about all the fancy stuff. You just take. All I'm doing is just playing all the notes in that scale. And every once in a while I'm going chromatic, which means I might hit a note that's not really in the scale, but as long as I get out of it. So you can go, for example, you could go. As long as you don't tarry too far, but just stay in there. So there's the A right there. And what I'm doing is I'm just extending up the neck to the next A. So I'm going up here. Remember I said there was an A there? getting into that B chord. That right there is the octave of that. All I did. So that's why you heard, I think like an icicle, you can go in, I don't know, you can go in this direction or that direction. It's hard because I can't get up there on this guitar. So what I do is I choose to, rather than with this finger go this one, what I do is I take that finger and I go in that direction. It's just easier for me. On an electric guitar, it's easier to get up here. So anyway, and that song, if you listen to it, there's no fancy, pyrotechnic lead in it anyway. It's really pretty. I mean, the essence of the song is to keep it real simple. It's a drinking song, waltzing song. So you don't want to overdo it. There's an A right there. All right, that's enough of that.